Hey there, I'm Akash Sablock. I'm going to show you some tools and toys for techies.
And I'm Franklin Harris. I'm going to show you how to put Windows XP on your EEE PC. Today on The Lab.
Good to see you. Welcome. It's time for The Lab. I'm Leo Laporte. This is the show where we explain how technology works. Everything from little computers to the internet to cell phones to camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, the works. Kate Abraham, have a nice little beverage. One of your fans sent you that lovely oh, okay.
This is from Bruce from Guelph. Thank you very much,
Thank you, Bruce. Yes, and this is from Howie from Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Yes, he drew this for me.
He did indeed, freehand.
He did, freehand.
I do apologize for my little cough there.
Are you okay?
I am good.
Kate Abraham, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm the coughing girl, hi.
Yes, she's the coughing girl. That's her job. We saw Akash Sablock is here.
Yes, we did.
He's going to show us tools and toys for techies.
That was a tough one to say.
Tools and toys. Franklin Harris, he's got that little computer.
Little dance.
Little baby. He's got that little computer, but it comes with Linux on it, and he wants to put Windows on it. It's kind of the reverse. Everybody's putting Linux on everything else.
Yep.
He's putting Windows on his Linux machine. But it also will show you a little bit about how you can shrink Windows down to make it usable on a small device. Stowe Boyd is also here talking about social apps.
Yes, he is.
How they change our culture. You've got a tip of the day.
I have.
Sean's got a shiny, and this is show 165. Lots of calls, too. What is our first caller?
We are going to Montreal in Quebec, and we have Judith.
Hello, Judith. Thank you, Kate.
Hi, Leo. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, it's wonderful to talk to you. Looks like you're in the library today, Judith.
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël. Merci bien. And the same to you.
Thanks.
So what can I do for you today?
Okay, I'm entangled with videos and video files and audio files, and I don't know how to record FLV on Nero. It won't accept it.
No,
and
it won't.
I was wondering if I need a special kind of CD disc, or how does it go? Maybe my Nero is out of...
Nothing wrong with your Nero either. FLV files are flash files, the kind of files you see on YouTube and on lots of other sites. And even when you save these to the hard drive, you can't burn them because they need to be converted to MPEG-2. So I'm going to show you a wonderful site. Let's copy this URL first of all. I'm on a YouTube site. I'm going to copy the address of this video. Just right-click here and say copy. All right. Now I'm going to go to a new site, vixy.net. Vixy.
Are you putting all this in the show notes?
Oh, of course, I wouldn't make you write this down. Right. So Vixy allows you to, it's vixy.net. That's all you really have to remember there, Judith. Okay. I'm going to paste that URL into Vixy, and then look, it can convert the FLV to a variety of different formats. If you just want the audio, it has MP3. It could convert it to MOV, a QuickTime file for Mac. So you're going to do this on Windows, so I'll have it convert to an AVI. It'll actually be DivX and MP3. But there are other formats. And then, once I do it, now it's going to take a little while, I'll download the file and I'll have that on my hard drive. Then you can use Nero to burn it. Nero just doesn't understand flash files, but once you get it into a format that Nero understands, then you can burn it. Now, DivX, you have to install the DivX player, so you might try MPEG-4. There are different formats depending on what Nero can handle. This works on Mac or Windows, and they even have a download, so you don't have to use the website. You can download the installer. So this is a really great way of getting, see there it is. This is a really great way, absolutely free, of getting those YouTube movies or movies you see on other sites that are flash-based into a form that you can then make a DVD out of.
Yes, I'd like to save those. There are fantastic historical videos on Google and YouTube, and I'd like to save those just for myself, you know. Are
you a librarian, Judith?
I should be.
You look at all the books you have here.
I love reading.
That's wonderful. And in the same way, you want to save this information on the net. Absolutely. So this will work with Google. It'll work with YouTube. Let's go. Let's try. So it's right now it's working. And this is one thing that you have to remember is that it takes a while because it's got to do a lot of conversion. So it's not going to happen right away. You're going to have to wait a little bit while it's processing it. It might be a little faster if you use the download one. So let's take. Let's see. I'm going to take something. Here's Robin Williams. Don't play the audio on this, gang. But I will. But I am going to take. Oh, this is another YouTube. I thought it was Google video. But again, we'll take this. We'll go to vixie.net, and we just put in the URL, and it will start converting it into something that we can use. Converts it to AVI. So that's the key, is to convert that FLV into AVI. If you're a Mac user, there are programs that you can use to do this as well. But the problem is, it's not immediately apparent on YouTube. Google will allow you to download those files usually, but not YouTube. There seems to be an error with this, but we'll keep trying. YouTube is down? I hope not. It's vixy.net. Okay, Judith?
Okay, and I'd like you to have a peek at my granddaughter's blog. I made it for her.
You did?
Christmas.
Isn't that sweet? What is the URL?
Thumbelina03.wordpress.com.
G-O-N?
No, Thumbelina.
Oh, Thumbelina. T-H-U-M-B-E-L-I-N-A?
Yes, 03.
03.
.wordpress.
How old is your
She's 4.
Oh, so you're going to be writing it, not her, huh? Oh, look, and you put stories on it.
Yes.
Oh, so she can read these stories.
Yes.
Oh, isn't this wonderful, Judith?
Yes, I refresh it every week, and she can get used to the computer, the usage of computer,
Oh, and then does her mom read this to her, or?
Yes, she does. It's bedtime stories.
Judith, I am blown away. I think everybody should know about this. We'll put this in the show notes. Thumbelina03.wordpress.com. These wonderful old stories, and you put the illustrations in there, and you can read them aloud.
Classical music, and I put slideshows on the right-hand side. I have slideshows with her friends and little dogs, and she loves horses, so I put a slideshow.
Aren't you? What a nice grandma. Look at this. My horses. You know technology, Judith. I'm very impressed.
Well, I have 6 blogs.
6 blogs?
And a web page.
Holy camole. You obviously know what you're doing. This is beautiful. This is Audrey's Thumbelina, Audrey's Corner. Thumbelina03.wordpress.com. Judith, I'm so pleased to meet you.
Yeah, before I leave, I'd like to refresh a free file that I obviously got it from you sometimes. It's called Call for Help. It's called Secunia.
Secunia, yes.
Yes, and they have a new gizmo, psi.secunia.com, and I downloaded it, and it performs a scan on the computer and finds all the critical updates that are missing, and all the it's a Secunia personal software inspector. It's great. I recommend it to everybody.
It's Secunia PSI. I totally agree with you. This is a really excellent scanner. Secunia is a great company, too, for security. Wow, Judith, when you are out our way, would you come on the show and be our grandma geek?
To come on your show?
Yes, be the geek grandma. You can come and show us some stuff.
I love to.
Okay. Stay on the line. We'll get your information. The next time you're in Vancouver, you are going to be on this show, okay?
All right.
Thank you, Judith. Take care. Isn't she something? She had a security tip, a website. I'll tell you, that's the kind of call I love. All right, coming up in just a bit, tools and tricks and toys for techies. Akash Sablak when the lab continues. Stay right here. Akash Sablak is here. There it is. Whoa. Stand back. Akash Sablak is here. He is the king of geek gadgets. He's got tools and toys for techies right now. Lots of fun ones. We'll get to this last.
Yeah.
Let's start over there. What
this
you
is
got?
the Harman Kardon Go Plus Play.
This is another stereo system for an iPod.
For the iPod, you can use almost any generation of iPod and any version of it,
I like
too.
how it sits down flat in there.
Yeah, it's nice and solid. It's very heavy.
Look at that metal. Would you carry this around? No.
No, well, this is great if you're going to the cottage or you're going on a trip or
Right.
something like that. You know, if you're driving around. But it runs off AC power.
Oh, that's cool.
Or 8D cells, which will last about 24 hours.
Oh, that's a long time.
And it'll also charge your iPod. Comes with a very, very cool remote control.
And Harman Kardon is a good name. I mean, they do a lot of high fidelity stuff.
The quality is unbelievable. The sound quality is just
looks
amazing.
Good. Sounds great.
Oh, sounds
How
brilliant.
much though?
This is about $350.
They're all
It's a
about
little
that.
pricey, but you know what? It's part of your decor as well. So
I know, look at it. Isn't that pretty? I'm very stylish.
Yes.
Now, what are these binoculars you've got here?
No, this is the Bushnell Pin Seeker. This is a
So if you lose your pins, you use that to...
well, a little more expensive than that. It's your golf ball is what you're looking for. So this is a rangefinder. This is the latest version. It's up to about 1,000 yards.
Let me see that.
Yeah, here, take a look at it.
So I've heard of golfers using this. Instead of just judging the pin, they would use this to find out exactly how far it is and what club to use.
This is one of their latest. This is the latest version. It's accurate to about plus or minus 1 yard. It'll go up to 1,000 yards. And now this is finally legal for tournament play, which it wasn't
really?
before. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Again, this is also about $350.
Wow, you're 4,000 yards away. I don't. No. That's really neat.
Well, if you think about the number of balls that you've lost, you know, trying to.
Yeah,
but also, it gives you a good idea of which club to use, and
Yeah,
you can sort of
exactly.
get a range. And this one will actually do grades as well. So
Grade?
it'll tell you if
up
there's
and down.
up and down.
So you
yeah.
could put it somewhere and it would give you.
Well, no, it'll tell
does
you
it-
the sensor. It'll sort of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'll tell you if it's
That's
the
uphill?
pin's higher or lower than where you're standing.
Boy, this would be great to have. I don't
Yeah.
golf, but I could see that. How much is that?
At $350.
Oh, golfers are loaded. They can afford
so
anything.
that's getting cheaper as we move along
Okay.
here. This is the Invoca voice control remote control.
Okay.
So I mean, it looks really simple. There's only very few buttons on
Right.
it. Why? Because everything's done by sound. So you hit wake, you say commander, and then it'll turn green, and you go volume up or volume down or power whatever.
Can you say Oprah?
Well, I don't know if you can program that, but I'm sure you can.
Video on, video off. So it's for. Oh, wow.
And in that's where you program everything in there. So you can have your own commands to learn from other remotes as well. The base that it comes with will recharge the battery.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not bad for about $60. So
That's cool. And does it work pretty well? Do you use it at home?
I've used it, and the cool thing about it is if you're sitting watching TV, you don't even want to reach for the remote. This is the height of laziness. Yeah, basically. So,
All right.
yeah, so you got to speak a little loud. That's the only thing. So now we're coming over to this is a Tornado. This is a file transfer tool. Now this is designed specifically. It's for Windows computers only, unfortunately, but it'll run for Windows 98 SE all the way up to Vista. So you just pull it out.
And
USB connection.
And then inside the middle is the software?
It's all built in.
That's really cool.
It's $55, all built in. You don't have to install anything on the two computers. Both computers will appear on the screen and copy and paste your files.
Oh, that's really,
really
a great
cool
idea.
for backing up.
That's really great. And then you press the button and
Press the button to release it. It
gets
comes
out of
with
the
the PC eraser software, so on the original computer to actually erase the files when you don't
that's
need them.
really good. So you get this, you transfer your files over, then you erase them before you give
Yeah,
away
I
your
just
old
upgraded
computer.
from XP to Vista on a new computer. I had a hell of a time trying to transfer
Does this
stuff
work
over.
with Vista?
Yeah, it works with Vista.
Great.
Right
I
from
love
Windows 98 SE up to Vista.
That's great.
Okay. Stanley, this is the Max Light Mini Tripod. So it's a very bright light. You hit it once for one LED, hit it twice for two,
Whoa.
and then hit it three. It's very bright.
That's really bright.
But the
We
cool
won't
thing
shine it
is,
into your eyes,
if you're
though.
working, you push the button, and you get a little tripod.
Oh, that's really handy.
So very handy.
I like that's a good tool.
Yeah.
I think I could use that.
Yeah, $25.
Good deal too.
Yeah. All right, this is the new VPX system from Black & Decker.
Mm-hmm.
So what they've done is they've taken their basic tools that you use around the house and run it off of one single battery. So this single battery will run everything here.
So all of these tools use the same. Oh, finally!
I know.
Well, that's something we've needed for ages.
It's a lithium-ion battery, so
Okay.
there's no memory. It'll hold its charge for about a year, about 80% of its charge for a year.
Oh, that's great.
So,
and
you know,
what kinds of tools do they have?
Well, this is the jigsaw they have.
A jigsaw?
A jigsaw, a flashlight.
Okay.
Okay, a drill.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite here. So when you plug the battery into it, what it does is it runs as a USB recharger
Or a plug.
or a plug.
Hey, now that's cool.
Right?
So if you have tools that don't use the VPX system, you plug them into that.
Exactly. So if you want to charge your cell phone or anything like that,
That's really
portable.
neat.
So
I
it's
like
really
that.
handy. It's a nice thing to have. So just have a couple extra batteries on hand. And
Are there
everything
more than just these three? Do they have a variety of
Right
tools?
now, this is actually a starter set. It's about $100.
Oh, that's not
This is
bad.
separate. This is about $50 for
And
the charger.
I imagine they'll do more.
Oh, they eventually will do
yeah,
more.
everything should
and
be
of course,
the
you can get
system.
additional batteries and stuff. Really cool to have around the
Yeah, I
house.
like
'cause-
that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Stanley IntelliLaser Pro. Now,
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing does everything. It's a laser ranger, so and it's a level.
Okay.
And it's a stud finder.
Oh, let me name it you. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah, so it's actually got two pieces. So if you're doing in corners or you're doing two levels, this thing will turn on too. It's a laser.
So this is more like a level as well as a laser.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's good. We could use that to do the 3D scanning, Frank.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. How much are these?
That one's about $60.
Oh, very nice.
But it works great.
Now I've heard about this. This is from Dyson, right?
Yes, that's the Dyson DC16. Oh,
It's a strong vacuum. It really is.
Well, this will pick up a 2x4 easily.
Wow. I mean, that really is a strong vacuum.
Now this one right here, this is the Issey Miyake limited edition. Issey Miyake is a very famous fashion designer, so he's designed this one.
That's why it's magenta.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't even figure out the color, but $179. It runs 6 minutes.
That's the drawback.
Full charge.
So, but it's so much power that
it's a lot of power. It'll recharge in like 20 minutes.
But well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's for quick jobs, like in between seats, that kind of thing.
This attachment here, this is great for cleaning your keyboard. That's what I use it for.
Oh, really
yeah,
good.
in car seats and stuff like that. This is great for corners and stuff like that. So very powerful and very easy to clean. There's when you're cleaning it, all you do is there's a button on the side here.
Yep.
You push that, it'll drop down. You don't even have to touch the dirt.
That's great.
Yeah.
How much is that?
It's $179.
Yeah, I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice thing to have around the house.
Don't give it for Valentine's Day, though.
Yeah. Well, then you'll have to have a red one.
Diamonds only. Okay. Well, that's the idea. Issey Miyake, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you a Miyake. Oh, yeah, right. Great. It's a vacuum. Thank you, Akash Sablak. You can find him at his website, andnowyouknow.net. And, find all the links to what we just talked about there or on our site, labwithleo.com. Thank you, Akash. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Really fun. Turn the commercials on now. We'll see if it works. Meanwhile, let's get a close-up look at something you'd find around the lab. It's a dub. That's what it is. It's a dub. What is that? You know what that belongs to? Tell you what, we'll zoom out and find out when the lab continues right after this. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we showed you this picture of a dub. Well, I know what that is. It's a dub. You press that button and it dubs. The Panasonic AGDV 2500 tape deck. That's what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't even know now what it is. I know what the number is. That's what. I don't know what that is. All right, I hope you got that right now. Let's say hello to Kate and another caller.
Absolutely.
Hello,
We're going down to Mildura in Victoria, and this is Denzel.
Hey, Denzel.
G'day, Leo. How you doing?
Good day, mate. Well, I'm doing great. Thank you for getting up a little early to be with us today.
That's all right. It's about 10 o'clock here.
Oh, I don't know why I thought it was earlier than that. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm a student and I'm looking to basically change across to the Mac. But the thing is, I'm visually impaired.
Okay.
And ZoomText is a program I've been using since 2004, but they've updated and it's very CPU and memory much of a hog. Every time they do an upgrade, they put something new in. I know the Mac's native when it comes to zooming in, because I've seen you actually zoom in and stuff.
Yeah, we do it all the time,
All the time. And I was just wondering about the speech processors and stuff in Leopard, what it's like for, can you run around the screen, touch icons, will it say the icons, can it read Word documents out, is it any good for actually perusing the web with saying stuff?
It doesn't have a screen reader per se. So if you want a screen reader, I'm not sure I would recommend. I think you might want to go out and get a third party. Both Windows and OS 10 are really doing their best to make themselves more accessible, but they're really far from having it all built in. I'm going to go to show you the system preference pane here. This is the universal access preference pane. VoiceOver is what you're talking about, and it will do a lot of what you want. I'm going to open the VoiceOver
Welcome to
utility.
Macintosh. VoiceOver is running.
And you're hearing the voice is
Universal Access Toolbar.
you hear it's reading those controls, and it's using Alex's voice, which is, I think, very good. You can control the verbosity, how much it will say. You can control whose voice it uses. I mean, it gives you quite a bit. I would say it's almost a screen reader. I mean, it's as close as you're going to get. And it'll even support a Braille reader if you have one. So there's some very cool things. Are you low
System
vision?
Preferences.
Yeah, I'm low vision.
Okay, that's why the magnification.
I use about 4 or 5 magnification, something like that.
So there's two kinds of zoom. Now, we use all the time where you just press the control button and use a scroll wheel, and you can zoom in anywhere. And then it moves with the mouse. Now, I have it set so that when the mouse moves to the edge of the screen, it drags the screen around. What you're seeing is my full screen. And I'll show you because I'll zoom out again. So this is, and you can zoom in pretty close. Let me zoom in all the way.
Yeah, I use full screen basically. I can zoom into 32 meg, but that's too close. Like roundabout.
Yeah, this is a little too. This is, but if for instance you suffered from macular degeneration, this would be great because you could get in as close enough to read. I mean, I'm when I'm zoomed in full screen, that fills a 24-inch screen practically. So you'd be able to read that word, no matter what. So that, I think they do a good job of that. They do the black, the white on black. This is the reverse contrast.
Yeah, that's what I was after. Yep.
Yep, it does that. You can use. This is still saving some color, or you could turn grayscale on. It'll all be grayscale. For some people with certain vision problems, this is a much easier way to read. You can even control the content. I would say they've done a really great job of putting accessibility in here. There's not much it won't do. Now, I'm not blind, so I don't know what all your needs are. And of course, everybody has different needs, and that's one of the reasons it's difficult.
With Word documents, can you basically do the box or the underline as it's actually reading text?
Yeah, well, the way the text reader works in most applications is you select. There's a couple of ways to do it. You can use the controller, but normally you would select the text and then tell it to read it.
Yep.
And so it does. And the Alex voice is really excellent. I mean, it does a great job.
Menu.
See, now I've got
menu.
that. It's saying I'm in a menu.
Menu.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to know what apps I'm in, like, menus, icons, stuff like that. And that's what ZoomText does anyway. So it just seems to be, it's all built in OS-wise, and it's not going to struggle. And a Mac's pretty good anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that's as it should be. It is true that there are all kinds of adaptations that computers may need to make, and no one adaptive control panel can do everything for everybody. But I think they've done a good job for people with visual impairments. I would say this is pretty close to what you would want.
What about VR software if I really do have to run back to Windows for some reason?
Oh, it works very well. In fact, we're using it right now. If I go scroll over to number 4, this is screen 4. This is right here. This is Vista running, and it runs, I would say, every bit as well.
Window. Scroll area.
In fact, interesting.
The voice from Mac.
It still works. I didn't know this. I hadn't tried it. So, in fact, even though I'm in the virtual machine, it seems to work a little bit. Let's see if it's going to do it all. Nah, it's probably only doing it when I have a Mac screen up. But if I window this screen, I wonder.
That's okay, because I've got the ZoomText.
Virtual machine menu.
Yeah, it's giving me the menus for the Mac application, but not the Windows application.
Applications menu. Window menu.
What you said it already does the colors and stuff for the background.
Oh, let's try that. Let's see. That's a good question. I would bet that does change it. So I'm going to go back into these
system preferences. Search text field. Insertion at beginning of text.
You're used to this. It's driving me crazy. Do you mind if I turn the voiceover off?
You can turn the sound off because I'm so used to it. I do it day in, day out.
It doesn't bother you. It's making me nuts. All right, let's go white on black, use grayscale. Now I'm going to slide over to Windows. Yeah, it changes everything. So the Windows is also in grayscale. So at least that much does extend to all the display, including the Windows display. I would say this is probably exactly what you want, Denzel. Not knowing exactly what you need, but I think that they've done it. In fact, I'm pretty impressed with the job they've done here.
What about when you basically change over colors? Will it actually change some of the software colors, like, for example, iTunes?
In which program?
iTunes, for example.
Yeah, it changes every program. It changes it globally.
Yeah, because I have real problems with Windows Media Player. It's because it uses the browser colors.
No, this changes it globally. So if you're using the white on black display, the reverse display, it changes it globally. So, I mean, I have to say, I don't know exactly what you need, and I don't know exactly what ZoomText does, but I think Apple has done as good a job as anybody's ever done of making OS X much more accessible. I think they really deserve a pat on the back for that. Hey, thanks for the call, Denzel. I'm glad you're watching. We'll talk to you soon, all right? Now let's walk over to Ryan Ewell.
Hello,
Time
sir?
for a Jewel. What do you got for us, sir?
I'm on Mac today, and this one actually solves a problem that I have quite often. I got a bunch of windows up because I got a bunch of programs running. I got a couple desktops going.
You're a busy guy.
You know, and I like the drag and drop functionality of a Mac. So let's see, we got these files here, these AVIs, and I want to drag and drop these into a program I have running.
But it's way down below.
I don't know where it is, and sometimes, like, I'll find the program. So let's say here, I found I found iSquint, boom,
now
it's
it's
covered
covering
up.
it. How are you
So
gonna
this
get
is
it there?
This is a program called Xshelf, and what I do is I just highlight these things,
Yeah.
and I just drag them over to my little shelf here.
Oh, that's cool.
Drop them on the shelf.
Yeah.
Find the program I'm looking for,
Yeah.
which is right here.
Yeah.
Go back to the shelf and just drag them in, and
That's
boom.
cool. It's kind of like an intermediate place
There you
for
go.
them to
It
be.
remembers them, so you can drag multiple items, single items. It remembers them.
That's nice.
Yeah, it really, and you can move that Xshelf around on the screen if you don't want it on the left side. You can move it somewhere else. It solves that problem of finding and dragging and dropping.
I use a Finder replacement called Pathfinder, which I love, that does that. It's in fact probably the #1 feature for me, but that costs $40 or $50. This is absolutely free.
It's a Yule's Jewel, so it has to be free.
What's it called?
It's called Xshelf.
And where would I find it?
Labwithleo.com, free files, Yule's Jewels.
I knew it was somewhere like that. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Coming up, Franklin Harris. He's up to no good once again.
Is he ever up to any
He's
good?
good. Wow, he's always hacking something. You know, it's funny though. Most of the time, hackers are putting Linux on iPods or PS3s, or he's putting Windows on a Linux box.
He's regressing.
He's crazy.
Yes.
What is he, nuts? Windows XP on your Asus EPC. When the lab continues, you stay right here. Oh, one thing we want to do right now, give you a little test. Pop quiz, everybody. How many episodes of television has producer Matt Harris done with Leo Laporte? Leo Laporte doesn't even know this. Is it 150, 350, 425, or 600? It's a lot. It's too many. What is it? What's the answer? I don't know. Let's find out a little later on when the lab continues. Stay here. Welcome back to the lab. This is it, the sexy little Asus EPC. Easy, and entertaining, or something.
Yes. Hackable with an E.
And hackable. It's a little 2-pounder. It's really cool. Comes with Linux on it.
That's right.
But that wasn't good enough for Franklin Harris.
No.
He wanted to put Windows on it.
I wanted to just be different. Essentially, and I'm not a big Windows fan, but to be different, I figured why not. I mean, they actually encourage you. In the manual, they encourage you to install Windows. Comes with all the drivers. But
Where
Windows,
are the drivers?
They're on a little CD that comes with with the triple EPC.
It just doesn't come with Windows because they don't want to pay for Windows.
That's right.
But you could put it on if you had a copy.
That's right.
And there it is, Windows XP. Now, there are some things you have to do to make this work with Windows.
There's actually quite a few things. This specific model only comes with 4 gigabytes of
hard
drive space, right? Flash-based drive space.
Yeah.
And Windows is a pig. Let's be honest. It requires a lot of space on the default install. So they do give you some general guidelines in the manual as to what to do, but it's nowhere near enough in order to get.
So you want to strip down Windows.
You want to
make this
really
work.
strip it down.
So this is useful for anybody who wants to install Windows with less.
Absolutely. I mean, this doesn't necessarily apply to this. This is just in general.
Right.
There's a free program out there called Nlight.
Nlight is so cool.
It's awesome.
People use Nlight to make slipstreamed installs of Windows.
That's right.
Where it's not just the Windows install disk, but updates,
additional software. Like you can put iTunes and VLC.
But you
and
could do it the
stuff.
other way too. You could put less in.
That's right. You could put less in. So I fired up Nlight here. And
this is a free program.
That's right. I told it where I copied my XP install CD onto my drive.
Okay.
It found it. Not a problem. I have a preset of configuration that I use, and we'll just go through it. So once you're there, you can sit there and say, yeah, I want to apply service packs.
These are all the things you could turn on and off.
That's right. Any hot fixes, additional drivers. So you could copy all the drivers from the install disk onto the install. Components, if I want it to run unattended, any little bit of tweaks, nevertheless. We'll move on.
So, for instance, I know on the Asus you don't want to use a swap file. Can you make that part of the Nlight?
No,
you'll have to go do that after the fact.
But what you can do in Nlight that you really should do for a device like this or any flash-based devices, just turn off System Restore. You don't need it. Right? Remove System Restore.
And that will let you turn that off.
Absolutely. Remove any of the language packs.
Why save space?
Why? Any of the keyboard configuration. Unless
Can
you want
you
to use
say what services are installed?
You can, absolutely. You can go on and tweak everything. So
you run this, and what you're going to do is it's going to help you build a directory with the install stuff that you need.
That's right.
And nothing more.
That's right. So now we get into the really geeky stuff. So you can sit there and remove applications. Like, you know what? I don't need the briefcase. I don't need the calculator.
Yeah.
I don't need the defragger. Well, you do, but I don't want
Actually,
paint.
on a flash drive, you can't use a defragger.
You can't, right. I don't want paint or pinball.
Right.
I mean, all this stuff takes up a lot of space. You can get rid of, like, I don't need SCSI or RAID support for this unit itself.
Now, without doing this, how big is Windows?
It's about 600. The install ISO is about just a little bit under 600 megs.
Okay.
And I was able to remove everything that was completely unnecessary and get it down to 233 megs.
Wow.
Right?
That's a big
And that's
drop.
including service packs, hot fixes,
That's
VLC.
stuff you did include.
That I did include.
That's just taking stuff you don't need out.
That's right.
Now, then you burn that to a CD?
Burn that to a CD. It creates a bootable ISO for you.
And you have to have an extra. There's no CD drive in this.
No CD, but it works with an external USB
CD drive.
That's right.
Just plug it in.
I plugged it in. I started the process. Once you burn the CD, you can give it your CD key, so it runs completely unattended.
Enlight is a really neat program.
It's awesome.
One other thing that you did to this that probably everybody who wants to run Windows on this should do is add RAM.
Yeah, I added RAM and I added an external SDHC card, an 8 gig SDHC card.
So this can be used as like Drive D?
It comes up as Drive D. Absolutely.
So you can put programs on here if you want to.
Yeah, what I've done is when I actually install software, I install it to D. I moved the user variables for the temp directories to D. I moved my internet temporary files, everything I could, because if I wear this card out, it's a lot easier to replace than to replace the internal flash memory. Turn off system restore. There's a bunch of other tweaks. We got them all in the show notes. It's huge.
How much RAM did you put in here? 2 gigs?
There's 2 gigs. Yeah,
that's
2 gigs.
The max.
Yep, that's
but
the max.
now look at the size of this. It's a really small Windows PC,
and it runs great. It's surprisingly.
It's got a camera. Does the camera work?
Camera works. Absolutely.
Microphone works, so you could use Skype.
Everything works.
That's pretty cool.
Everything works.
And it's $400. It's a very inexpensive. I think a good choice for a student, lightweight PC, and especially when you get Windows on there, there's nothing you can't do.
I've been using it exclusively for 2 weeks for email and reading my RSS feeds and surfing.
I have one. I use it for Linux. You think I should put Windows on this?
No, keep Linux on.
I like Linux.
Yeah, I mean,
this is pretty fast.
Yeah, it
has
runs
Wi-Fi built in.
Has Wi-Fi built in.
Look at that. That's pretty cool.
I added Bluetooth to it as well.
I'm amazed. Yeah, I'm amazed. It snaps up.
Yep. Boots really quickly.
More details on this, the Enlight program, and the things you can turn on and off are on our website, labwithleo.com. You want to see more of this kind of thing, this is the guy to do it. He has his own video show on the internet. It's called digitalunderground.tv. Check it out at digitalunderground.tv. More of your calls coming up. Look how fast that popped up.
Yeah,
that's actually really great.
It's surprisingly fast.
More of your calls coming up in just a bit. You stay right here.
Hey, welcome back to the Lab with Leo. I'm Kate Abraham, and now it's time for my tip of the day. And this is for all you movie buffs out there. Now, I'm a huge movie fan. I like to know what's going on before it actually happens, behind the scenes info. Firstshowing.net is the blog you need to be reading. It's got all the details of movies coming up, what's going on in production sets. Check out firstshowing.net. As you can see, it starts as a blog format, so you can see exactly what's going on behind the scenes, maybe some Hollywood gossip you hadn't heard about. The cool thing is as well, this site actually goes through and it gives you various events that are happening. So for instance, I could click through here and find out about the events that are going on within the certain film industries. The thing I really love as well is actually a release schedule. So I can find out what's going to happen on this, say for instance this Friday, check out the movies that are going to be released. But my favorite thing of the whole site is this. They have actually behind the scenes interviews with the stars of the movies at various events they've attended, so you can check that out here. So that's firstshowing.net.
I miss so many movies. I'm so far behind. I need something like that so I can keep up with what's going on.
It really is.
I hear there's a new Spielberg movie called E.T. Everybody's talking about it. I can't wait to see it.
You know what? I haven't even heard of that one.
Never heard of it? Oh, yeah, you should go. It'd probably be on there.
It probably will be.
Firstshowing.net.
Firstshowing.net.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You got another caller for me?
I have indeed. We are going to Carlsbad in California, and we have Rob on the line.
Great. Hello, Rob.
Leo, how are you doing?
I am great. Thanks for calling in.
Not a problem. We listen to you on KFI down here in Southern California.
Of course you do. Yeah, that's the great KFI.
Yeah. So I was calling you about recommendations on movie editing software.
Okay.
I had a movie that I made a while back, and I recently imported it into Vista, and found Movie Maker.
Right.
And it was extremely simple to use.
Oh, yeah.
It was drag and drop. You added audio, did titles.
Yeah.
It was a great experience, and what was really cool was that it allowed you to do the DVD stuff, which I wasn't expecting. So it added all the titles and menus and things like that, and it was pretty seamless. But it was a little limited in what, once you get started, you kind of see, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. So
it's free. I mean, they're not going to give you a heavy-duty program, but for a lot of people, Movie Maker is all you need.
Yeah, well, I think I want to do a little bit more.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of looking at recommendations on what the next step is. I took a look at Sony Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
it's a great program. Oh, yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, it's kind of high end, but it doesn't have all of the user end stuff like the canned kind of themes.
Right.
And I took a look at Premiere, which is actually kind of in the middle, I think.
Yeah, you mean Premiere Elements?
Well, not the Elements.
There's Premiere, which is the high-end package that's used by a lot of pros. That's a very high-end program. But they also make a stripped-down sub-$100 version that I usually recommend to people called Premiere Elements.
You're right. That is the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, because Premiere is almost $1,000. Elements is very much like Windows Movie Maker. I mean, you see, here's the timeline. You load in your clips. And you have your clips stored in the folders here, and you drag them out, and you do the preview window here. I mean, it couldn't really be much easier to use, but it does have, and I think this is what you'll like, it does theming. It has DVD themes. It has a lot of themes. You can see all the different categories. And these make it really easy for you to create a DVD so that very professional looking. I think this is, let me show all of them here, because I think this is a really wonderful, powerful piece of software. That'd be my recommendation. It hides, I think it hides very effectively the complexity of creating movies and DVDs, but at the same time it gives you a lot of the power that a high-end program like Premiere has. I think it's a good mix of capabilities. I've tried other ones like ULEAD's DVD Studio and so forth. I don't find them as good, although everybody has different tastes, and some people swear by that program. A lot of people like Pinnacle's Studio 10. That used to be a great program back in version 6, and it's gotten a little buggy and crashy since then. I'm not fond of the current version, but many people also like that a lot. That would be one to look at that's kind of closer to Windows Movie Maker, but with a lot of additional features. But for my money, I think Premiere Elements is the one anybody should try. Now, here's the good news. You could try it, Rob, without buying it. They have a download.
Right.
And that's what I would suggest. I would download as many of these as you can. I'm pretty sure you can download Vegas. Sony also has a low-end Vegas called Movie Studio. Movie Blast Studio, something like that.
No, it's right. It's Vegas Movie Studio.
Yeah, Movie Studio. That's a lower end, closer to Windows Movie Maker on the spectrum. I would download all of these. All of them have free trials. Play with them until you find one that fits your editing style. But my personal favorite, and the one I think that suits most people, is Adobe Premiere Elements. Under $100. For $150, you can get it with Photoshop Elements as well.
Yeah, that's a good add-on, huh?
Yeah, that's actually a great combination.
Cool. Okay.
But, I can't tell you what you would like the best. The beauty of it is they know that. That's why almost all of these programs have a free trial.
Right.
Yeah. Pick a movie that you've done before, so you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it, and just try the different features, try the titling, the menuing, the DVD mastering, and I think you can find one that you like. There's plenty of good choices now. In fact, most people don't like Windows Movie Maker because for very little money you can get something so much more powerful. All right, Sean's here. He's got a shiny. I mean, and this one is literally a shiny. That's as shiny as you can get.
Yep.
Is that a mouse?
That is a new mouse. It's the Logitech MX Air. And
that is gorgeous.
About 150, beautifully designed. Use it as a normal mouse.
So I could put this on the table and use it
on the table.
Okay.
But it's called the Air because you can pick it up and move it around in the air. It actually.
And why would I want to do that?
Well, we've had callers call in about using their TV as their monitor and
this would be good for TV. Look, it's working.
It would be something that would be great for using
that is weird.
In your chair while looking at your television.
How does that work?
I'm not 100%.
It's got a base.
It's got a base. It's got a little Bluetooth dongle over here, so it does connect to your computer wirelessly like that. So
it seems pretty reliable. And then I click it will click.
Yeah, you click it, it works the same way as a regular mouse would. It would just do that in your hand instead of on the desk.
Wow. That is really kind of strange.
Yeah, so it's, in a lot of ways, it's like the Wiimote on the Wii.
That's probably the same technology.
Probably the same technology. So it does take a little bit of getting used to, as you can tell here. it's not as responsive.
Well, for one thing, I'll tell you right now, you can't pick it up and move it over, so that if you want to go all the way to the left of the screen, you got to move all the way to the left. You want to go to the right, you got to go all the way to the right. So it does take more space because there's no way to kind of move over. But on the other hand, that's pretty cool.
It's meant for the 9-foot display.
How much? It's $150. It's a little pricey.
It's a bit pricey, but it is a great technology if you need that sort of arm's length display. And it is cordless, and it does work from a long ways away because it is Bluetooth.
Okay, but
it has an internal battery. You can't change it yourself, so you have to recharge it if it runs all the way down before you can use it again. You might lose it in the cushions. It's pretty tiny, and if you're holding it in your chair, then that's a big problem.
It does take a little bit to getting used to, too.
Yeah, and it's not easy to master.
That would just be for special occasions, but you can do it. Look at this. This is very interesting.
Yeah, it's got all the regular
I have to move my hand really high to get up there.
It does have all the regular stuff that you'd expect on a mouse, the scroll wheel and the buttons and all that. So
it's kind of hard to do fine control.
Yeah, just put it on the desk. It'll work there, too.
All right, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to have more of your calls, more talk, and Stowe Boyd will be here to talk about social apps. Very interesting. But first, one last chance to take our quick... this is so pretty. Our quick quiz question of the day. How many episodes has Matt Harris, our esteemed producer, done with moi? I don't even know this. And I was there for every one of them,
It's got to be 5 or 6.
I'm thinking it's the higher number, but we'll see. Go to the website, give us your best guess. We'll tell you the real and true and one and only answer when the lab continues. Stay right. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we asked you how many shows I've done with Matt Harris. I'm thinking 600, Matt. That is what I thought. That's a lot. That's a lot of shows. We've been working together for 47 years. Many people don't know that. Stu. I did it. You make me mad, Stu. I called him Stu, and he said, you didn't call me Stu, did you? And I said, no, of course not. No, I'm going to call him Stu. Stowe Boyd is here. He's the front man for The Messengers. The Messengers is a consultancy that talks about what? The internet, Web 2.0, all this
social
stuff.
Applications.
Social applications.
Almost exclusively.
It's great to meet you finally. You're a legend in the industry.
It's all true. Every bit of it.
You gave a speech, social equals me first, and I understand you were telling me that bugged some people when you said that.
Well, actually, it was really interesting because at the very beginning, I just announced I was going to be doing a presentation with that title. I didn't say anything about the presentation. Right. I got this torrent of emails and Twitters, and people presumed that I was in some way being, I don't know, encouraging selfishness, but that wasn't at all the interest.
There is a feeling, I must say, when you read Twitters and when you read Facebook, it is a little about me, 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 me. That is kind of the nature of it, but it is about me, 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 me in relation to you, 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 you.
Right, well, the nature of sociality is people being in relationships with each other, and the nature of social networks, which is the kind of thing we're talking about, sort of taking over the world these days, is a bunch of nodes connected together, and each node is a person.
Right.
So
it has to be. You have to talk about yourself.
It has to be about people.
Right.
It's got to be about individuals.
Well, in your opinion, what are the top social networks right now? Facebook, MySpace.
Well, yeah, Facebook
Flickr.
has come out very strong in the last year and a half since they opened it up to everybody who wasn't a student.
Yeah.
Obviously, MySpace has been huge. I don't know. There's various niches. I'm very interested right now in a social network called Doppler, which is for travelers, people that travel all the time. And
Doppler's fascinating. Yeah.
It solves that amazingly annoying feature of travel, which is you're going somewhere and you want to find out who's going to be there, and there's no effective way to actually find out who you can have dinner with.
Right.
You can't send email to everybody you know, or even everybody you know in London, for example. The trend has been towards very large networks continuing to get larger and larger.
Yeah.
Now,
like Facebook.
Only now are we, and LinkedIn and others, but only now we're starting to see the emergence of more and more focused apps that trying to do one or two things really well. Last FM, for example, recently acquired by CBS, focused just on the notion of music discovery and discovery through people who are like you. That is, they listen to music like you do.
So that's taking the old idea of radio station essentially, and adding a social element so that it's not just what you're listening to, it's what your friends and others are listening to.
Well, prior to them actually providing any functionality that allowed you to listen to anything through their service, the first thing they did was a music discovery capability by introducing you to a virtual network of individuals who happen to listen to music similar to the music you listen to. And that was a breakthrough feature that led to them exploding, because all of a sudden you could, play a little bit of music on iTunes fundamentally, and load up all this information about yourself, and then they would introduce you to 2 or 3 dozen people who had similar musical tastes.
Humans are fundamentally social. I mean, this is how we relate to the world. So it makes sense that our computer applications, our web applications would start to be social too.
Right, and that's what the thing I was talking about in this slideshow. The people are connected to each other increasingly as individuals, not as members of groups, not as members of an organization, a company,
right,
or even a collection of people. You're
right.
individual first, and through your relationships with other people.
So even if on Facebook,
because of your passions and interests,
that's what connects you.
That's what connects you. You affiliate.
It used to be just geographic proximity.
That's right.
You're my neighbor.
We were limited to that. We could only, meet with the people in the corner bar or over the Cracker Barrel in the corner store.
What about people who complain, though, that you don't really know these people because they aren't your neighbor? You haven't met them. I've never met you. I feel like I know you. I've read your posts, your Twitters, your blog.
I think it's possible increasingly because of these tools that you can have an authentic, meaningful, deep, long-term relationship with a lot of people
that you've never met.
Well, not necessarily never met, because in fact you may meet them. Right. But the point is, people that you don't necessarily come in contact with frequently.
Right.
You don't have to only have friendships with people in your zip code.
What's the future of social networking? Is this a fad, or is this going to take off and be in everything we do?
I gave this talk at a conference called Lift in Geneva. And I gave the presentation, and my pitch was, hey, I'm a guy that helps people build applications. So I'm a very practical person. So don't think that I'm pie in the sky. I'm really trying to do something very simple. And I said, I've looked at a dozen or 2, 3, 500 dozen of these apps over the last 10 years. And we know something about what makes them tick now. And so I gave my pitch, walked through to the end. People were very interested. Got a good reception. 35 or 40 minutes later, I was followed by a Franciscan nun who manages the website for the Vatican.
Wow.
Now, you cannot imagine 2 people less alike than me and her.
Right.
I mean, I dress like an unmade bed. She's wearing the nun's garb, the habit. She's dedicated her life to a religious order, and I'm just the opposite. I've dedicated myself to making money and helping other people make money. But she came to exactly the same conclusion I did.
Which was?
Which is that people are on a voyage of discovery. Yeah. And it looks like they're on the web talking about stuff, but they're really not interested in the stuff. They go to these places on the web that are populated with people so they can discover things, ultimately, through them, and I'm talking about these things, discovering who they are, discovering their self.
So it's really much deeper than just Web 2.0.
It's as deep as it can go, but the thing is, of course, it's still intensely practical. So if you're trying to build one of these apps, you have to be aware of that.
Stowboyd.com/message for more information. Stowe, so good to meet you. Thank you for coming by.
Pleasure.
Final word coming up right after this. Well, we are out of time, but it was a fun show. We thank you so much for being here. Everything we talked about is on labwithleo.com.
Absolutely.
Along with your blog, lots of information, and of course, a place where you can ask questions. We hope we'll see you there and see you right back here next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.